Our first guest, as Jerem promised, is BYU Athletic Director Tom Holmoe. Looking fresh in that shirt. Tom,
Friday.
It is. It's Friday. Feeling good. Welcome
Feeling
back to
great.
the set. What do you think about this setup here at the BYU store?
The BYU store is looking good today. I like being in the apparel section. You guys look like you've stole a few things off the rack.
We would never do
Borrowed,
that.
Tom. Borrowed.
Tom Holmoe with us on BYU Sports Nation. We just talked about Jim McMahon and what a journey it's been for him to become a BYU graduate. What does that mean to you as a guy that's been around him and worked with him closely?
Well, it's a long day coming. I think all of his teammates, his family, those that love Jim, and there's a lot of people that love Jim, feel great. That in a number of ways. One of the things that people thought that he really just did it so that he could receive the honors that would come his way. And I think there's a little bit of part of that. He has a great relationship with his dad, Jim Sr., and it's really sweet to see that. And Jim McMahon wanted that for his dad, to be able to do that. But it was also cool when he started to arrange some of the classes and kind of did it behind the scenes so no one was really tracking him. It was really fun to see how much he felt that it was a cool thing to be able to graduate and to show his children, hey, your dad graduated from college. You're not the only ones.
I thought he made a promise to his daughter a couple years ago as well, and so now he's paying something off with that.
I'm not exactly sure about that. I just know in talking with Jim Sr. how closely they were to that, and it's been in a number of years. It's hard to come back to school for someone that's an NFL star. He does charity work like almost every week, flying around the country, making appearances at various locations. He does so much to help communities and his friends and people around the country. He's involved in all kinds of organizations that help and assist other people. People don't realize that, but if you follow him on Twitter, he's all over the country helping his friends out. And for him to try to get back into school and finish up, it's pretty amazing. So he finished the hurdle class, he called it.
The stats class?
Yeah.
Everyone's got the hurdle class.
I think there's a couple other easier ones that he's finishing up, but that was the one he was worried about.
And he got it done, just like he did in the 1980 Holiday Bowl, which,
That's
by the
exactly
way,
right.
brings me to my next question.
It didn't even take that much of a flair to finish this one.
Yeah, that was a little bit harder. Or a lot of bit harder.
3 touchdowns in 4 minutes or whatever it was. Yeah. Tom Holmoe, Athletic Director of BYU, is with us on BYU Sports Nation. And while we're on the topic of bowl games, it's always fodder for BYU fans. There are now going to be 40 bowl games in college football. As an athletic director of a major Division I program, do you like the expansion? I mean, how do you feel about that? What does this do to the game as there is additional games now in the postseason?
I think being in administration of a college athletic team, you don't really have to like exactly what's going on. You have to just adapt to the transitions that occur. And over the course of the last 10 years, or if you go back to, say, when I was here, there was only maybe 12 games.
There were in '74 when Gary Scheide led the team. There were 11.
Okay.
11.
So you just have to adapt to the fact that this is how it is. So for where we are right now in BYU athletics, I'm happy that there's these games. I kind of like.
You want a lot. You want more.
It's not that I want a lot. I think that it brings some entertainment. You can't go backwards unless the whole scale of college football changes.
Yeah.
You're not going to start getting rid of them.
Is 63% of all FBS teams eligible for a bowl too much, though?
It's like the NHL, huh?
It's a lot. That's a lot.
It started out that it was important for teams to go to these bowl games, to have these big matchups. And then cities and individual communities realize that it's a nice payday for that community to put together a bowl game if you can run it successfully. And as they started to emerge and you had more and more bowls, it kind of fit in okay. And then all of a sudden there was just an explosion, and I think they let in too many. I think there are too many teams right now, so that as you look at the bowl lineup, you might see a game that you don't recognize the two teams that are playing. That didn't used to be that way. It used to be back, I remember in my senior year, we played the University of Utah in Salt Lake. The winner went to the Holiday Bowl. The loser didn't go to a bowl game. And that was for the championship.
With a winning record and competing for a conference title.
You're talking about 8 wins. And that's how it used to be, but that's not how it is now. I think people at schools that have 6 wins and get to go to a bowl game, they like that. I think it would be better for BYU to go to a bowl game with 6 or 7 wins than not go to a bowl game. So I'd have to say I'd be in favor. I don't want to see him continue to go, but right now I think they've set that plateau at 6 wins, and some games aren't great, but most bowl games are great experiences for the kids.
A man who owns 4 Super Bowl rings is what I was going to precursor that was.
You know the bowl, the Super Bowl. That's exactly right. Tom Holmoe, the athletic director of BYU, is on BYU Sports Nation. I want to go back to Jim McMahon for a second. So what does he need to do to get into the BYU Hall of Fame, and what's that timeline like?
Graduate.
So once he officially, so is he going to? Is the plan that he graduates now in April?
Yeah, that's what he's working on right now. He has a couple classes, but like I said,
is he going to walk?
Well, hey, you're asking me way too many questions.
That's my job here, Tom.
He just finished stats yesterday, and you already have the ring on his finger.
Let's say he finishes in April. Is there something this fall that you'd like to do with him?
Well, we would like to do something with him as soon as we can. There is a process at BYU that we go through that, as you can see, that Jim we weren't able to avoid that process with Jim years ago. And the fact that he was compliant with the rules and regulations and criteria for being in the Hall of Fame, you can see that he's taken the steps necessary. So I don't want to jump the gun. There's a process in which we go through. There's a committee. I think he'll pass the athletic test of being able to have
check.
been
I would hope. Yeah.
All-American, check. Major award winner, check. All those things he'll be fine with.
Yeah, and this is a lofty thing for BYU athletes. You look at some of the other schools across the country and the prerequisites that are required to get into their respective Hall of Fames. BYU is a really distinct class, really a huge honor to be there.
Well, we've researched it, and there's a fair number. I think half of them I've looked at, you don't have to be a graduate, and about half of them you do. So it just depends on how the rules were written back in the day, and it's kind of hard to be in an academic institution and all of a sudden change the rule to say you don't have to graduate. So most schools that have had that situation try to stick to it.
Let's finish up with this, Tom. Tom Holmoe is on BYU Sports Nation. Can you update us on where BYU's at with a 2014 bowl game?
We're really close. We've been negotiating with a bowl game. It's been a great opportunity to put BYU in a position to go to a game. And I'd say in the next little while, we're down to signing papers now, where before it was just a matter of making agreements and having verbal understandings of where we're going. There's a lot of steps that you have to take to get into those situations as an independent. Most other bowl games are all set up as conference affiliation. So it's a piece of cake. If you're in that conference and you finish in that spot, you're in that bowl. As an independent, you have to set those bowls up, and so you have to set each one up. So I feel really good that probably in the next couple weeks we'll announce where we're going.
Next couple weeks, okay. And there are 39 bowl games for BYU fans. Don't be worried about getting into a bowl game. It's going to happen.
Very confident.
Which games? Oh, I'm not worried about that.
I'm guaranteeing it, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteeing BYU in a bowl game.
Let's give it up for Tom Holmoe, everybody.
Yeah,
Tom Holmoe,
absolutely.
BYU Athletic Director.
Do you need BYU Sports Nation karma for anything? You have any big events coming up?
It's volleyball tomorrow night. We need a lot of karma
Taylor
for
Sanders going to be on here. We'll give it to him.
Okay, give it to him, please.
You got it.
You can get some karma from him, too, you two.
Yeah, we need his karma. That's exactly right.
Tom, great to have you. Thanks so much.
Guys.